Incredibly, Trump's remarks were actually in keeping with the tone he promised this week.
The Republican nominee proclaiming on Twitter he is a free man. Quote, "It's so nice that the shackles have been taken off me, and I can now fight for America the way I want to."
Yes, the shackles are off, which is actually an apt metaphor as it calls to mind both Frankenstein's monster and a rabid dog. And before I start to run through what Trump has said this week, keep in mind, we tape this show at 6 p.m. So here is a rundown of some of the things he feasibly could have said between now and the point when we air. All those clowns people keep seeing would be appointed to his cabinet. He can get the best deals with China because he is, in fact, 100% Chinese. The border wall is going to be constructed out of Rosie O'Donnell's bones. Abortions are caused by low-energy storks. And finally, it's not rape if it happens on a yacht. But here is what he has said as of now. First, he burned bridges with his own party, calling Paul Ryan weak and ineffective, and then, at campaign rallies, dialed the knob up to full-on conspiracy theorist.
Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty. This is a conspiracy against you, the American people, and we cannot let this happen or continue.
Holy shit! That is not the kind of thing that a presidential candidate says. It's the kind of thing... It's the kind of thing that a man in a tinfoil hat screams inside his concrete bunker because he thinks his soup cans have been bugged by the lizard people in the White House. But Trump isn't just rampaging against his political opponents, he's rampaging against his own campaign. When one journalist tweeted that at a recent rally, a Trump supporter was standing in the back shouting, "Stay on the issues," his own campaign manager, Kellyanne Conway, responded, "That was me, I was there." And even if she meant that as a joke, it's not a great indication of how much control she has over her candidate. It's like she's already thinking ahead to her campaign tell-all book, or possibly her tell-all trial at The Hague. But perhaps most ominously of all, Trump took a theme that has been dancing around all this campaign and made it explicitly and frighteningly direct.
The election is rigged. It's rigged like you've never seen before. You see what's happening? The process is rigged. This whole election is being rigged.
OK, telling your supporters the election is being rigged is legitimately dangerous because faith in fair elections and a peaceful transfer of power are essential foundations for a democracy. And undermining them is like asking why one of those giant eagles didn't just fly Frodo all the way to Mordor in The Lord of the Rings. If enough people start thinking that way, the whole thing kind of falls apart. And just a quick side note here, please address your long rebuttals about why the Fellowship of the Ring did not go with that plan, because it would have sacrificed the secrecy of the Ring Bearer's mission to John Oliver at justkidding.go-fuck-yourself. So just to recap, this week, Trump has declared war on his political opponents, the media, his own party, his own campaign, and the concept of democracy itself. It all paints a picture of a man who is increasingly positioning himself as the only source of truth and goodness in America.
I never knew it would be this vile, that it would be this bad, that it would be this vicious. Nevertheless, I take all of these slings and arrows gladly for you. And many political experts warned me that this campaign would be a journey to hell. Said that. But they're wrong. It will be a journey to heaven.
You heard right. He sees himself as a lone, persecuted saviour who started out in construction, is suffering on behalf of his followers, and will one day take them to heaven. We have known for a while that Donald Trump believes he's the second coming of Christ, but it turns out he might mean that literally. The only real difference being, with Christ we think, what would Jesus do? And with Trump it's more, Jesus, what the fuck did you just do?